It is almost impossible for us to imagine growing up without language, which develops in our minds so effortlessly in early childhood and plays such a central role in defining us as human and allowing us to participate in our culture. Nevertheless, being deprived of language occasionally happens. In recent centuries, children have been found living in the wild, said to have been raised by wolves or other animals, and deprived of human contact. It is hard to know the real stories behind these cases, but they are all strikingly similar with respect to language. The pattern is that only those rescued early in childhood developed an ability to speak. Those found after they were about 9 years old learned only a few words, or failed to learn language at all. One of the most famous of these cases is that of Victor, the wild boy of Aveyron, made famous in a film by Francois Truffaut called The Wild Child. Victor was captured in 1800 when he was about 10 or 11. He was studied by a young physician named Jean Itard, who creatively and painstakingly tried to teach him to speak, read, and write. But despite Itard's best efforts, Victor never learned to speak. He learned to read and print only a small set of words. Children without hearing are not as handicapped. A deaf child can still have language and relate normally to others through signing, as long as language development starts early. There are a number of studies that show that the sooner a deaf child is exposed to a natural sign language, such as American Sign Language, the more proficient a signer he or she will become. As in other cases of linguistic isolation, the ability of deaf people to learn new words is not affected by the age at which they are exposed to language, but their ability to learn grammar is dramatically affected. Studies of deaf children exposed to sign language after the preschool years showed that there is a critical period for grammatical development, which ends, perhaps, in the early school-age years.